So our next speaker is Miss Alex Moscovitz. Alex is a senior with an environmental geoscience and sociology double major. She's a part of the Global Service and Justice program at Boston College and also works as a research assistant in the sociology department. She plans to pursue a master's of urban and environmental planning after graduation. Please welcome Alex.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Moscovitz. As he said, I'm majoring in environmental geoscience and sociology. For an independent study this semester, I've been writing a chapter for a book series with my advisor, Professor Tara Pisani-Garel, on the topic of urban agriculture and STEM education. The chapter is based off of a descriptive survey that I put together this semester on urban agriculture projects with youth programs in major cities across the US. Urban agriculture sits at the intersection of many relevant issues, including food insecurity, community development, reducing carbon emissions, and more recently, educational inequality. The goal of the survey and the chapter has been to document and typify these organizations and identify how they incorporate STEM education into their youth programs. STEM is defined as science, technology, engineering, and math, for those of you who don't know. Many of these projects take place in community gardens, schools, rooftops, and can involve farmers markets, community-supported agriculture, or provide food for school lunches. The goals of these programs differ, but many involve components of community development and sustainable agriculture with food growing and consumption. Increasingly, these programs are incorporating youth education into their missions, and that's what the focus of this talk will be on today. But first, I would like to describe the climate that these organizations are arising out of. Many urban agriculture programs are established from the need to alleviate food insecurity. Food insecurity is defined by the limited or uncertain availability of affordable and adequate nutritious foods. Food insecure communities are known as food deserts, where fresh food is scarce and consumer options are limited to fast food restaurants and corner stores. Here you can see on the left maps that show concentrations of households at least 1 mile from a grocery store. The top are low-income households and the bottom are car-free households. On the right, you see concentrated populations that have obesity and diabetes. And from these maps, you can see in many areas that these correlate. What you can't see from these maps is that Blacks and Hispanics experience disproportionate levels of food insecurity. Urban agriculture programs are aimed to increase access to food for these communities. They invigorate communities by developing local food systems and improving urban environments. Research has shown that these organizations also increase health literacy, activism, and community development, while also beautifying neighborhoods and lessening crime rates. Another issue facing low-income and minority groups is the academic achievement gap. Achievement levels in science and math are low for these students, as are interests in STEM fields. There are many factors that contribute. To name some, teacher expectations, school resources, and course rigor. Environment-based education has been used as a proven means of teaching science and math concepts to students by using real-world applications and hands-on activities. Gardening activities that teachers can use include planting and maintaining gardens or hydroponic systems, one of which you can see here, and the teachers base their lessons off of these activities. Research on school gardening programs has been shown to increase social skills in students and increase science achievement in students. Increasingly, non-school based urban agriculture programs have been incorporating these activities into their own youth programs. Because they are located in areas where they can, so that they can improve food security of urban poor communities, they also can stand to increase educational opportunities for the students of those populations. We wanted to document these programs, so we surveyed them to discover their goals and their uses of curriculum. For this study, we selected programs through internet and literature searches of the 35 most populated cities on the basis that they include a component of urban agriculture and a youth education program. We found that a youth education program can be any engagement, educational engagement with students with a garden or farm. And urban farming or gardening can range from small gardens or a hydroponic lab at a school to a full-scale farm within the city limits. Out of the 35 cities, 25 were found to have organizations, and there are 39 organizations that meet the criteria. Here you can see cities that have more than one organization. Once documented, we typified the organizations based on their youth programs. The types are youth enrichment, youth employment, and school resource. Youth enrichment programs are shown here as ENR. Are school or farm-based programs where the organization's educators educate youth in structured lessons and activities. These can be after-school programs, internships, camps, or field trips. Youth employment programs are paid or stipend jobs where youth help operate the farmer project and market produce, gaining job skills and education. School resource organizations construct gardens, labs, and greenhouses, and provide training and curriculum to school teachers. This graph breaks down the organizations by typology and their use of STEM education. When I say STEM education, I mean that the organizations can either directly incorporate a standards-based curriculum with science and math courses into their program, or they might just use STEM-related activities, meaning that they don't have a curriculum, but the students measure growth and make observations and experiments in the garden. So you can see here that out of the employment type organizations, only one uses direct STEM curriculum, and one uses STEM-related activities, and 3 don't have any STEM incorporation at all. We also broke down the types of education that these programs are incorporating. Topics include watershed health, ecology, nutrition, animal husbandry, energy flow, and marketing and engineering. Now, for my favorite part, some examples of these programs. The Garden Project in San Francisco is a youth employment program that has 300 high school students per year participate. They work daily during the summer, and in the school year, they work on weekends, tending to the farm and working in all aspects of the farm while delivering vegetables to 20 sites in San Francisco, and also gaining job skills. During all of this, they participate in environmentally based math and science classes on the farm. Urban Harvest in Houston is a youth enrichment and school resource program. Last year, they worked with 20 schools to bring garden-based education to students. So they have an after-school program that is directly meant to enrich the during-school classes. So when the students are taking a plant biology unit after school, they're growing plants to see all of the processes such as pollination and fruit maturation. They also provide training and support to teachers so that these teachers can incorporate their gardens during the school day. This is Washington Youth Garden in DC, and they have all types of programs. So they work mainly with school populations that are 50% eligible for school lunches. Washington Youth Garden builds gardens at the schools and trains teachers over a 3 to 5 year period on how to incorporate the garden with their activities, and they teach the lessons alongside the teachers. They also have a summer internship program that's paid for high school students, and a demonstration garden for youth to bring it for schools throughout DC to bring them on field trips. Many of these organizations are poised to contribute to the STEM education and interests of students who are the most educationally disadvantaged in these areas. Given the intractable nature of food insecurity and the education gap, alternative methods of youth education are needed. More research needs to be conducted on the successes of these programs, but these organizations are acting as a learning resource and a living lab for schools and students, and they should be considered in their contributions to education. Thank you.